6 goals from Lee Harding led the Kangaroos to a very impressive victory over Geelong down at Skilled Stadium. 42 points in the end. In fact, it was more than 42, Brian. It
64.
was about 64. I'm on the wrong page. 64 points. And it was pretty comprehensive. And one of the stars of the Kangaroos season, one of the Brownlow medal favourites in actual fact, joins us in Adam Simpson. And Adam, travelling down to Skilled Stadium, he walked away with a massive 10-goal victory. He couldn't want anything more.
Yeah, we really needed it. Last week we didn't start too well against Footscray, so one of the main focuses was to get away to a good start this week, and you know, to the boys' credit, we did that.
I haven't seen too much of it, but the word is the Kangaroos went out and beat up on the Cats. Brian, is that a fair way to describe it?
They just played old-fashioned footy, basically kick footy, and robbed Geelong of any chance in the midfield. And it was a great tactic employed by Denis Pagan. It was very effectively carried out by all of his team. They got off to a pretty good start. The Kangas, they kicked 8 of the first 10 goals, and obviously down there in the conditions, that was going to pretty well set it up for them. Sinclair running off half-back. Been pretty good for you, Adam, over the last few weeks, hasn't he?
He's been very good. He spent a bit of time in the twos early on in the year, but he's really, to his credit, he's positioned himself in
What
the
about this man here as well, Anthony Stevens?
Well, Stav, in the last month of footy, he's been none better.
Yep.
His leadership on the field, that was a good pass, wasn't it?
24 possessions, he had Anthony Stevens, and once again he was one of the very best players. Teague getting the fast hands of Shannon Grant. Look, it wasn't a scintillating game by Grant, but nevertheless he was effective and did what he had to do up there. Scarlett down back. Digby Morrell, look, he kicked just the 1 goal for the game, but I really like him for a future player, Adam, and he really does give you some vigour. He charges in off the back of the square at the centre bounces and gets involved. Geelong's only real hope up forward in the first half. 2 goals to this man here, Johnson, and did it pretty well. And this was the only clean ball that came forward to Ling in the first half for the Cats there, and he got one, and Kent Kingsley missing there, but Johnson's 2nd goal as well. And it was a pretty ordinary first half by Geelong. 26 points down they were at half-time. Johnson got 2. Ling was playing on our guest here today, Adam Simpson.
Who won, Brian?
Who won?
Who won out of Adam Simpson and Cameron Ling?
Well, I thought that Adam probably just got him, Gary.
If Cameron Ling was here, who won?
No, Adam would have just got there. I've got Adam in the votes, but we'll get to those very shortly.
Lee Harding kicked 6. Do we see... he was very good, Brian. Ex-Geelong boy. I'll ask you, Adam. He's just come along. He's off the rookie list, because I know Geelong really wanted to draft him too, and you guys just got him before us.
Yeah, he's the quickest bloke at our club, and he's really come on this year. I think he's only 20 years old, so you know, there's a long career ahead of him, and if he keeps working both ways, he'll go real well.
And Lee Colbert, I know you were going to ask about him.
I was going to ask about Lee Colbert. I was going to ask about Adam and his role that he's playing. Early in the year and probably last year, you were sort of I suppose the hunter. You were playing on very good players. Have you seen your role change the last 3 or 4 or 5 weeks since your form's been terrific? Like I think it was Chris Grant last week, and Ling's picked you up this week.
My role has changed a little bit this year. With the inclusion of Ben Robbins coming down from Brisbane, he's probably taken on the role of the run with sort of type, and to his credit, he's done that really well, and it's freed up a few players like myself and Steve-O, and Stewie Cochrane's doing that same sort of role as well. So
Geelong were in trouble because of 2 vital injuries. Ben Graham off in the first 2 minutes, and this one here, the clash. Byron Pickett is just the best in the business at lining up a guy fairly.
Fair.
Yeah. I mentioned the word fair actually, Gary, when I spoke then. Yeah. And Melbourne, basically in his 100th game, was KO'd there and got an injury, as Doc mentioned. King went forward in the last quarter, kicked the first goal of the last quarter, and gave them some hope. Got them back to 30 points. Gary Ablett Jr. was a late inclusion with the withdrawal of Aaron Lord, kicked his only goal of the game in that last quarter, and all of a sudden they were just a slight chance as they went into this last quarter. And then this man, Billy, that we mentioned there before, he kicked 6 goals straight. Lee Harding was absolutely sensational in those 6 goals straight. He just had the 8 kicks. He started the day on the bench. He took on 3 opponents, Wazinski, Foster and Riley. They all had a crack at him. He could beat none of them.
Yeah, Adam, just the way the Kangaroos go about it, they're obviously pretty hard and pretty tough. One of your young guys, David Teague, he really sort of emulates that style of footy.
Oh yeah, definitely. He probably doesn't get enough of the ball at the moment, but his courage overhead is second to none. I mean, I think he probably matches Glenn Archer in that department.
Wayne Carey, just before we go to Brian's votes, popped down training. What was that like throughout the week?
Yeah, it was good. It was good that he came down, and probably good for the young blokes as well, who probably hadn't known him for that long. He just said what he had to say, and a bit of closure, I suppose, and move on with what he's got to do.
Brian?
Yes, Anthony Stevens was clearly the best man on the ground. Lee Harding, who I mentioned there, beating those three opponents,
Lee
Roszinski, Foster and Riley. Lee Colbert was good in the last quarter, Bill, when the game was over. Teague was an instrumental player as well. I thought Adam Simpson was very good on the stopper, Ling, who has been great all year for the Cats.
Adam, we've got the dinner for two at George's at the Crown. Fantastic meal. Not forgetting the Mr. Low-profile heater, Tosca overnight bag, Rowley eyewear. I can't see without that. And the Santa hair care. And you've also got the wonderful Batocchi. You can't beat that either. And I'll tell you something, this bloke could be a dark horse for the Brownlow medal.
Nothing dark about him, Lou. He's one of the favourites.
Well, he could be, he could win it.
Thank you.
That's my tip.
Thanks for coming in. Good luck, mate. The final's still very much on the agenda for the Kangaroos. We'll take a break after the break. Billy Brown will tell us about Port Adelaide's big win against the Saints.